Omaha's police union is reaffirming its support for an officer who shot and killed a man, even as he faces the chief's recommendation that he be fired. 6 News was the first to bring you the breaking news on air yesterday. A grand jury decided not to bring charges against Officer Adam Vail. Back in August, Vail shot and killed Cameron Ford while executing a search warrant. Despite the grand jury and the Douglas County attorney choosing not to bring charges, Omaha Police Chief Todd Schmaderer says Vail's actions violated department policy, and he recommended that the officer be fired. In a statement today, the Omaha Police Officers Union continued to support Officer Vail, saying in part, quote, his split-second decision-making based on his perspective at the time was consistent with the demands of his role in a rapidly evolving situation. Officer Vail has not officially been terminated. OPD Human Resources has not yet heard his case. If he is fired, the case would be appealed, and based on the union contract, it would go to an arbitration hearing.